Okay, guys, so today I'm going to go over why you wake up tired, and it's most likely due to sleep apnea. And I'm going to explain what it is, what it does to you, and the solutions to it. So stay tuned. This is something that you probably deal with, or somebody in your family has dealt with. You might even have it and you don't know. So let's go over it. So, why you wake up tired? Sleep apnea. So, what is sleep apnea? Sleep apnea is where you have a sleep disorder where breathing repeatedly stops and it starts during sleep. So, if you go through the middle of the night and you wake up multiple times during the night to like gasp for air, or you just are not sleeping well, it might not be due to something you do in the day. It might be something with your anatomy, and your anatomy is the reason why sleep apnea happens. And there's multiple types of sleep apnea. So we got obstructive sleep apnea, which is caused by a blocked airflow. I have OSA, obstructive sleep apnea. There's central sleep apnea, where it occurs when your brain fails to signal you to sleep, to breathe. I don't think I have that, but I hear some people do. And then there's the complex, where it's a mix of both. But the one that we're gonna go over today is really the obstructive sleep apnea, because majority of people who have sleep apnea have the OSA, the obstructive type, where it's their anatomy. And then how common is sleep apnea? Guys, it's much more common than you think. In fact, I think sleep apnea is probably the most underdiagnosed problem that people have, and this is, I believe, the root cause of every single problem. Now, in my opinion, sleep apnea is caused by something else, but if we're talking about overall dysfunction in your human body, sleep apnea has to be the number one reason why people gain fat, are tired, have depression, have ADHD, have all these other illnesses that aren't even naturally real. They're a product of modern civilization. And I'm gonna explain how people develop sleep apnea. It's interesting, not when you find out the truth. And according to CPAP.com, where I got these statistics, 30 million people in the United States have sleep apnea, according to the American Medical Association. And that's just the people who have been diagnosed. I'm sure the real number is probably 5 times that, because if you walk around and look at a lot of people, don't excluding the gym, because the gym is mostly geared or biased towards healthier people who have the ability to breathe well and perform well. Go around and walk around at your daily mall or just public and general schools. A lot of people look like they have sleep apnea, and once you understand what causes sleep apnea and the how it lead like just the physical appearance of somebody who has sleep apnea, it's much more common. So what are the causes and risks? So obviously obesity. So sleep apnea, guys, it's where you can't really get oxygen to the rest of your body and your brain, right? So you either have a problem, you have a problem with your anatomy in your nose area or your throat area. It's one or the other, because if you can't get air through this section to the rest of your body, you're gonna start gasping for air, which is why you wake up in the middle of the night gasping for air, or just waking up tired and stressed out like you didn't sleep at all because you didn't get any oxygen. So obesity, like you see the guy on the screen, he's obese, and that leads to a thicker neck, and it's not muscle, so all that fat is just gonna weigh down against your throat while you're laying down, and it's gonna collapse your airway. So obesity is one of the biggest reasons why we have sleep apnea, but I think anatomy leads to the obesity, and it exacerbates the sleep apnea, in my opinion. But obesity is one thing you can't control, so control your diet, guys, and you'll have less weight crushing down your throat and less weight in your nasal area for airway blockage. So control that. Enlarged tonsils or adenoids, that can be, I'm not sure why that causes sleep apnea. I know it's the positioning in your throat. Like if they're very big, it's gonna block your airway. But I don't think those are the true causes. I think those are just symptoms that you can remove, and it helps your sleep apnea indirectly. The tonsils and the adenoids are not gonna be the real cause of your sleep apnea. And the reason why your tonsils or adenoids might be enlarged or just bigger in general is because of your diet. You might have a lot of inflammation and you irritate those parts of your body, thus they get bigger and cause you sleep apnea. So it's not necessarily those body parts are bad. It's just you're doing something wrong that's causing those parts of your body to be enlarged and affect you and give you sleep apnea. Anatomical issues. So this is where we get to the real stuff. So anatomical issues, you have a thick neck, like I mentioned before, a large tongue. Honestly, that's large tongue is false. It's just relatively speaking. You can have a very small jaw and a normal sized tongue, but the tongue's gonna be too big for your mouth. So the real problem is your jaw. So that's why I put the skull there on the screen. Your anatomy, your bone structure is really the problem. And your age. So as you age, like in my case, I know I've been predisposed to sleep apnea, but as I've gotten older, I think the skin tissue and the muscle tissue has started to sag, and it's caused me more breathing problems. And also because I've been getting bigger naturally, because I'm entering my prime or in my prime years, physically speaking. So everything is just getting bigger, thus more gravity and more pressure on the airway. Thicker face, bigger face, thicker neck, all that stuff. And then family histories, if your genetics, honestly, you can change your genetics. Like everyone has good genetics, in my opinion. It's just the expression of your genetics. And if your family has a history of expressing their genetics very poorly through their diet and environment, then you're likely to be a result of having this same problem. Like an alcoholic. People who are alcoholics and then you drink while you're pregnant, your child's gonna have the same alcoholic problem. So if you have a baby while you have a sleep apnea, that baby is likely to have sleep apnea because you reproduced while you expressed those sleep apnea genetics. And your habits, most importantly, you're eating a diet that promotes sleep apnea. You are in an environment that promotes sleep apnea. So that's how family history really ties into obstructive sleep apnea. And then the symptoms of sleep apnea. So you have loud snoring, that's obvious. And that's mostly to people who are mouth breathers. And mouth breathers have like that stereotypical face where their jaw is like receded or their face is just like pushed back. I have a little bit in my opinion, but it's not horrible. They gasp or choke during their sleep. I have that, so I know for a fact I have sleep apnea, and I've tested for sleep apnea, and it proved it. I wasn't, crazy. And the third symptom, primary symptom, is daytime sleepiness or fatigue. Guys, I get this still, even though I've done things to help my sleep apnea. It still hasn't gotten better because, like, sometimes I'll be in Costco, you'll be in the store, and you just get tired all of a sudden because you're moving more, you're demanding more of your body, but you don't have enough oxygen supporting you at all times. Like, you got to take a deep breath. You got to really force oxygen in your body. And while everyone else is like awake, you're like, like that was a real yawn. It's night, but you'll get that throughout the day if you have sleep apnea. And then difficulty concentrating. Guys, before I did the MARPE, which I'll get into more, I'm impressed with myself on how I got really good grades in school and able to do so much with sleep apnea, because I would like switch tasks over and over again. It would really take some willpower to get something done. So if you have any of these symptoms, guys, I'm gonna say you have a 90% chance of having sleep apnea. And it's not the end of the world. All you really have to do is confirm it. And once you confirm it, you have better leverage to get the solutions that you need to address it. So secondary symptoms are irritability. I get very irritable when I don't have enough oxygen and don't get enough rest because of lack of oxygen during my sleep. Morning headaches, I don't think I've ever had that, maybe minor, but that's another symptom. Dry mouth and sore throat, guys. If you have this constantly, you have sleep apnea. There's no other way around, because because if you sleep and you can't get oxygen, your mouth is going to take over the breathing. And when you have your mouth open throughout the whole night, you're going to get a dry mouth. None of your saliva is going to, keep you clean and sanitary, right? And then it's going to lead to bacteria nesting in your throat, and it's going to cause you a sore throat and a dry mouth. So if you wake up with a dry mouth and a sore throat all the time, plus the other symptoms, you have sleep apnea. And guys, I'm not even fat. Like, you can see my jawline. I have like a six pack, okay muscle, decent body fat. So this can happen to anybody. And the fact that I'm this type of physique means that it's my skeletal structure that's causing my sleep apnea. And by skeletal structure, I mean this, the face. All right, so risks of untreated sleep apnea. These are typical, but the ones that you really should know that you haven't thought about is your quality of life is worse. You're gonna have a shorter lifespan, and because of all the stress you have during the night, when you're sleeping with sleep apnea, it's like you're racing a 400-meter dash over and over again. Not to that extreme, but like it's consistently happening throughout the night. So you're having a workout without getting the benefits of a workout. You're just stressing your heart out, and your body's not changing. It's changing for the worse, not more muscle or anything. And memory problems, like I have memory problems. Like when my sleep apnea was really bad last year. It started really bad last year. Like I had it the year before, but last year was like, I got to do something about it. It's getting horrible. I remember 2022, I was like, man, this is, something's happening to me. Like my body's changing as I'm getting older. Got to address it. So once you hit like 22, 21 is like your last year of like youth where you're literally invincible from everything. 22, you start getting things, but 23 and 24 plus, you realize you're mortal. Like you're still powerful, but you are mortal. So if you're in that age where you're young and you have these things, get it addressed quick. And it can happen sooner for most people. Some people just have worse anatomy, so they start experiencing these things at 15, 14, and some people much later, like at 30. So it just depends on the timeline, but you'll notice it like slowly progress. All these bad things, all these health risks that happen due to sleep apnea. All right. So steps in diagnosis. How can you find out that you truly have sleep apnea? So what I did was a home sleep apnea test, a home sleep study, which is the most affordable, most convenient, and the fastest way to do it. Clinical evaluation, sleep study, that just takes too much time and it's hard to find. It's extremely inconvenient for your time, money, and efforts. So buy a home sleep study. It'll get to your house and it'll tell you your results. I got mine through Lofta. I got a PDF overview of like my sleep apnea. It's a moderate sleep apnea, so it's, to me, that's like severe enough where I need to address it with changing my bone structure, right? It's not just losing weight. I'm sure if I lose weight, like 20 more pounds, like it's absolutely shredded, it might go away, but like what's the point of living life without being able to fluctuate in your body composition? Because a certain body composition is going to limit you to a certain amount of activities. If you got to be extremely light to not have sleep apnea, guys, you may not be as resilient to do harder activities, for example, like a snowboarding activity or some other thing. But in general, it's better to be light. But if you want to pursue certain careers, you got to put on the mass. And if it comes at the expense of sleep apnea, it might not be worth it, because you're just going to really decrease your lifespan in the long run, but it's going to affect your day-to-day life. It's not just, oh, it's going to happen later. It's going to start the moment you cross that threshold of you're too big, you're too fat, now you can't breathe well. So the treatment options for sleep apnea. So obviously the ones that you should start off with, obviously, is weight loss. Get ripped, get shredded, or just get at a healthy body fat percentage where you can actually like see your jawline, you're not fat, you can like see your abs. Like for men, that should be like, if you do that, you're gonna be okay for the most part. But if that's not enough, change your sleeping position. I try to do that. I try to sleep on my back because it's healthier, but I had to sleep on my face for the longest time, because if you sleep on your face, this jaw, your bottom jaw, is gonna move forward and it's gonna open up your airway here. So you're jutting your jaw forward, allowing for more air to go through the bigger airway that's been temporarily created by moving your jaw forward, right? And that's what you really do when you sleep on your stomach. That's why people sleep on their stomach. If people sleep on their stomach, it's because they have sleep apnea. That position is instinctually created due to your your inability to get oxygen sleeping on your back. People who have really good development can sleep on their backs, like Princess Fiona from Shrek. Perfect skull crusher. I know it's a movie, but it's a like perfect facial anatomy, and she can sleep on her back. But if you're an ogre or just like horrible development here, you're more likely to sleep on your stomach, right? And then reduce the smoking, of course. You shouldn't even be smoking or consuming alcohol in general. That's garbage. And then here's the next step: buy a CPAP machine. If you think you have sleep apnea, just buy a CPAP machine right now. Like, go to the Lofta website, get a ResMed 11, and buy it. Order it. It's $700, but you could, just by doing that investment, you will probably make 10 times that amount easy, because you'll be less tired. You'll be doing more with your hours in the day. You'll be using more hours in your day with better energy. So don't think about the price of airway, guys. Airway is one thing you cannot compromise, because oxygen is the fundamental biohack of improving your quality of life. It doesn't matter how much meat you eat. It doesn't matter how much green shakes, cold plunges, saunas, exercise, meditation, walks, breathing, coaching. None of that really matters if your breathing is compromised, because if you don't breathe, you die. So if your breathing is not optimal, it's not where it can be, where it should be, everything else you're really achieving at a 70 or 50% potential. If you maximize your airway, everything else naturally is you're gonna naturally be able to achieve the best solution or best result from other areas of life. They're gonna come naturally. So buy the CPAP. And then oral appliances, oral appliances and surgery is like really the extreme step where I'm at right now. So I don't do oral appliances or dental appliances where you just reposition the jaw. That's like a bite block or something. I don't do that, but I do have an appliance in my mouth right there called a Marpy, but I'll include that in surgery. But really, if you have sleep apnea and it's due to your anatomy and you have a similar profile like me, you need to go straight to surgery after you address everything. But go straight to surgery, consult with the jaw surgeon to, reposition your jaws so you can have better airway. So this is my recommended solution. Go to a jaw surgeon ASAP and have double jaw surgery with the genoplasty. And then this image is a perfect representation. A double jaw surgery is going to include cutting your maxilla, which is right here, the upper jaw where your top set of teeth is. They're going to cut that, move it forward, rotate it in a counterclockwise position, or move the whole thing down. It just depends on what works best for you and your aesthetics, really. Then the lower jaw is going to be cut as well, and it's going to move like in a swoosh motion, like boom, forward, to match the upper jaw that moved. It's illustrated right there. And the genioplasty is where they cut the edge of the chin, just shown on this graph. So that chin can be moved forward to project it more. And that also pulls your throat muscles forward to create more space in your throat so you can breathe better. So now, if you think about it, most of the people who have really good jaw development are really successful people in all areas of life. Really, it doesn't matter. Like, you see elite athletes, for the most part, they have really good jaw structures. They're either they're very forward projected or they're very wide. If they're none, then it's an anomaly, or it's a sport that doesn't really require oxygen. Some of the few exceptions that I can see is Lionel Messi. Like, he looks like he's receded, but he kind of looks wide in the mid face, so it balances out. But Ronaldo, he's kind of recessed, and he doesn't look as wide, so that's literally pure hard work and maybe performance enhancing, PEDs. So at that level, So at that level, athletes, you can look at them and see, in general, most top athletes are going to look a certain way. But the best athletes actually to really see breathing benefits from is track and field sprinters, or, track and field runners. The elites of the elites usually have really good jaw structure because that is a sport that is really 100% reliant on energy systems and oxygen. You know, if you can metabolize oxygen the best after your ATP, then you're most likely going to win a race. So, by natural selection, those who can have more oxygen are usually the ones that have better bone structure to get more airflow. Therefore, they're going to have a similar profile, similar look. So, off that rant, so go to an orthodontic jaw surgeon and get a consultation right away. And they book out months, guys. So if you see this and you think about it like 3 months from now, you will regret it, because you should really book now. And then if you change your mind 3 months down the line, you'll be okay, because your appointment is likely going to be 6 months from now, or maybe 3 or 2 months. But it takes a while to see a jaw surgeon for this type of procedure. It's not something you can just go same day or next week like an ortho. These guys are booked up to the max, because this is a special procedure and it's in high demand due to, you know, most of the population dealing with this problem of bad jaws. And then MARPI, SARPI, so this device that I have in my mouth, this is like a step below jaw surgery. It's like the JV of jaw surgery, but it's really effective. However, it doesn't do everything, because with the MARPI, you can only manipulate this expansion, this plane of expansion, width-wise. So the MARPI will expand your jaw. It'll give you a wider smile, filling up the edges of your mouth. It's going to expand the area right here where you of your nose, so more oxygen can go in there. And better aesthetics, guys. So if you have a smile where you can see like dark areas next to your teeth, like it's a very small set of teeth that you have, like you can only see 5 teeth from the front when you smile, and then a lot of space on the sides, you probably most definitely have sleep apnea for sure, or bite problems, or both. And you have a small jaw, therefore a small airway through your nose. I'm not sure about your throat, but definitely through your nose. So if you have one of those characteristics, get the expansion first to expand your nasal airway and your smile, and then do the jaw surgery. So I would do a MARPI over a SARPI though, because the MARPI will expand your teeth and your cheekbones and your nose. So it's going to be a proportionate expansion through all the way. But if you do a SARPI, they only cut this bone. So the expansion is only localized here, but the rest of your face up here remains the same. And for aesthetics, it's not good, because you might have a big mouth, but then the rest of your face is all squished and narrow, like those tall skinny people would have narrow faces. You don't want to look like that. So it's better to look wider, and then you can adjust the rest to proportionate everything else out. So MARPI, that would be done through a dentist. A SARPI is also done through a surgeon and dentist, but if you had to choose one or the other, do a MARPI all the way. SARPI might be faster. It might be better results in terms of like even expansion, because you can control where you cut and what parts get expanded. But MARPI overall would be better as an adult, because you expand everything up here, like from here to here to here. It's proportionate. I don't see any other reason why you would do a SARPI, in my opinion, unless you're in a hurry. But MARPI all the way. And then in the meantime, guys, before you can even get a MARPI or a jaw surgery, buy a CPAP machine, so you can get air intake. I have a CPAP right there on my bed. You can get air pushed through your nose so you can breathe through the night. So even though your anatomy doesn't support oxygen intake and all that, at least you can improve 8 hours of your life by getting more oxygen. So that's a third of your day improved with that little machine. And it's the most important 8 hours, because it's really the start of your day is when you sleep. So buy that, and I say buy a Resman 11. It's a very small machine. It's very portable, and you can get a small nose mask, or there's many masks, but it's not a big Darth Vader mask where you go none of that. It's not what you think. It's very easy. It's comfortable to get used to, and it changes your life for the better. And do a at-home sleep study, because if you get jaw surgery or plan on getting jaw surgery, those procedures, guys, jaw surgeries are like $60,000, $100,000 It's very expensive, guys. It's like it's like putting a down payment on a very nice house, getting out a mortgage, honestly, in some states. So you want to have the right insurance. First, find the right surgeon for you. Try to get it approved through your insurance. If not, buy the insurance and then fight for it to get approved so it covers the rest besides your, pay out of pocket, whatever that is. And yeah, if you have the sleep study, that's going to be like your golden ticket to get your insurance to approve that, because if they see that this is a medical procedure that is necessary, they're going to be like, well, it's not for aesthetics, it's for health. We have no option but to approve you. That's how it should go. So get the sleep study done, have those results saved in your email, whatever, and you can walk in confidence to any office and the surgeon will take you seriously, because I know there's many trends of like looking better, TikTok and all that. And I bet you jaw surgeons get many people who want jaw surgery for the wrong reasons. But if you go in there for sleep apnea, they're gonna really pay attention to you. I hope so. The best ones should pay attention to you and take you seriously, because really jaw surgery is to help those with sleep apnea, or people who had horrible accidents or deformities. So those three types of populations: sleep apnea, deformities, or injuries. Not really for just aesthetics, but the aesthetics is the same as function, so it's like one and the same, just different wording. And then carnivore diet. This is unpopular. Carnivore diet, just eat meat, eggs, basically low carbs to zero carbs, but really stick to meat and eggs because it's nutritious. It's gonna get rid of all the water weight, which is also in your neck, so less weight on your neck, and it's just gonna improve your skin complexion and everything. Also, if you can, do raw. I don't do raw right now for just like practical reasons and at where I'm at right now, but if you can do rare steak, rare or raw liver, just red meat in general, plus seafood, plus all that, it's gonna help you lose weight because you'll be less hungry, so you'll address the obesity. You're gonna have the nutrients to support better body function, and you're just gonna look better, because if you eat the right foods, you're just gonna look better and more alive in general. Don't look like a vegan. Compare someone who was a vegan versus somebody who just ate a lot of meat or was in a natural carnivore diet. They look way different. And also, if you're a kid, like a small kid, like you're a parent and you're watching this and you have like a toddler or a kid, and they have a likelihood of getting these problems because you have those genetics that likely lead to sleep apnea. Well, as a kid, they could change their bone structure naturally because the sutures haven't fully fused. So if you get them to start chewing on a lot of meat, and chewing is the stimulus, but the nutrition in the meat will support the growth that was caused from the stimulus, if that makes sense. So you need to drink blood, eat meat, raw or rare, because you have the most nutrients, especially water soluble vitamins, because those evaporate when you cook. You want to eat as much of that as a kid so you can develop well. And if you do that as a kid, this PowerPoint, you will never need it. You will never need to see it. You can just go on, live your life, and actually be normal and not be in this population where many of us are at. So if you're a parent, take this serious for your kids. If not, if you're an adult, you know what to do. So here are the benefits for following through. If you do the jaw surgery and address the sleep apnea, you're gonna look better because function is the same as aesthetics. Think about it like this: if you're gonna reproduce, you are naturally drawn to genetics that will combine with yours to produce the optimal offspring. And the reason why you think that is because those genetics are likely to survive and thrive for the next generation and keep on going. So just by that logic, you think that those genetics and aesthetics are gonna be really good and continue on surviving and providing for the world. So just like that just makes a lot of sense, where if you improve your breathing in our world right now, modern world, it's going to help you in all areas of life, every single one that you can imagine. So aesthetics will naturally be a byproduct of improving your function through jaw surgeries, or really just a jaw surgery or an expansion. And then longer lifespan. If you have a lot of oxygen in your life and you never run out of it, your cells will never be stressed from hypoxia. You're gonna have less stress overall during your sleep. Therefore, you're not really causing damage to your body. And naturally, that leads to longer lifespan because you're not burning through your cell reproduction and life force to stay alive when you have hypoxia or lack of oxygen when you sleep. And then if you do the jaw surgeries and you do all the my solutions, what I think is best is you'll make more money, because if you get better sleep, more oxygen, you're gonna wake up earlier, you're gonna need less sleep overall, and your hours in the day are gonna be better quality. So you'll get more work done. Naturally, you'll feel motivated to do better things, better stuff. You'll be more inclined to, go out and use all this abundant energy that you now have. You might even try new experiences. Your hormones are gonna work better. You're gonna have less cortisol spikes from apnea. You're probably gonna get more testosterone because you're chilling, and that's gonna lead you to have less fear, to doing more experiences, and so on and so forth. You get the point. So this really ties into every aspect. It's like a kinetic chain, a domino effect, where if you do this one thing, it'll improve this, it'll improve that, blah, 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 so on and so forth. And it makes sense. And the last three are very important. You do this, you address it the right way, you're going to enjoy your family, because